South African whistleblowers have demanded better legal protection from President Cyril Ramaphosa. Activists say while whistleblowers come from all sectors of society, one thing they have in common is that they do deserve better protection. We're joined by whistleblower and member of the Active Citizens Movement, Advocate Adila Osman-Chowan. A very good evening to you, and thank you so much for speaking to us. So how much does President Ramaphosa's appearance at the Zondo Commission underscore the need for this? And if you could also tell us about your own personal experience.
Good evening. I think it's absolutely important, President Cyril Ramaphosa's appearance at Zondo Commission. It gave us an opportunity to actually hand over our petition seeking to protect further, whistleblowers from being victimized by their employers. I think it comes in line with my own plight with Imperial Holdings and Mark Lamberti, where I whistleblew racial discrimination and I was subjected to trumped-up charges, investigated, disciplined, and dismissed. And I was fortunate to have the late Jeff Molabella support me and Darlene Poff for senior counsel assistance in taking my matter all the way to the High Court, and I was actually successful in the process.
And it's very interesting because some have said whistleblowers, more than anyone else, have helped pull the mask off the epidemic of corruption in South Africa and discrimination, as you've said in your case. Tell us about some of those who are in part of the association with you. We know that we wouldn't know about things like the Gupta leaks, which pulled the mask off activities by Trillion and SAA. Just how deep does it go, the punishment for coming forward to expose wrongdoing?
Unfortunately, it is so deep, the penetration of the corruption and the implications of the whistleblowers blowing the whistle. We have people like Bianca who has become part of this movement. We also have Cynthia Stimple, who's the former SAA whistleblower. We have Athol Williams from Braid. We have a number of them, and unfortunately, they have been subjected to a similar process, of being investigated, trumped up charges, disciplined, and dismissed. And as I speak, we have Martha Ngoye, who's currently being subjected to unfair labor treatments within PRASA just because she exposed certain corruption within the organization. And she's even taken a matter to High Court where she's been reinstated. And she's since then been subjected to another disciplinary process in order to have her dismissed.
And I believe the abuse of power extends to even lawyers. So asking for specialized courts to at least deal with whistleblower cases, will it help prevent this?
It most certainly will. It will also fast track the process. Currently, we are subjected to this normal labor procedures, including approaching labor court. And that is a protracted litigation process. And in the process, the whistleblowers are financially exhausted because there's no financial resources or compensations or assistance afforded to whistleblowers. So if there is a body like an independent ombudsman that overlooks the complaints of whistleblowers, I think we'll come a long way in assisting whistleblowers and reducing also the fraud and corruption, because it will encourage whistleblowers to come forward and expose such corruption.
I mean, you have mentioned this before, the fact that the removal of people in power, particularly employers, would help the case. You speak about funding. A lot of the time, these employers or the people who would oversee the activities of whistleblowers would want to starve your funding. So how would you create a funding mechanism to cover legal costs of whistleblowers and other material, but also, most importantly, moral support?
I think that would come in when there is a change in the Protected Disclosure Act. That is something we are lobbying for. to ensure that there are mechanisms to assist whistleblowers. One of the mechanisms that could be implemented is something similar to UIF, where employees and employers contribute to a body and that would actually investigate the complaints of the whistleblowers. Then there will be a self-funding mechanism as opposed to the employer being judge, jury, and executioner.
Thank you so much for speaking to us. I wish we had more time, but really appreciate your insights. Advocate Adila Osman-Chowan is a whistleblower and member of the Active Citizens Movement. We'll be back after the break. We'll be talking a little bit more about presidential elections in Zambia. To stay with us.